Welcome to Reality versus Reality TV. They call me the realist. My name is Debbie, and today, because of marrying millions, I want to talk about prenups. So, if you are familiar with the show at all, Dani and Donovan are one of the show's couples, okay? Donovan is the guy with money, and Dani does not have money but works for Donovan, okay? She works as his assistant in his real estate business, for which he pays her $500 a week, all right? Donovan has recently asked Dani's father for her hand in marriage, and her father has given his blessing, all right? So Donovan has also asked Dani to sign a prenup. He's actually brought up the subject of the prenup, okay? And as you can imagine, Dani is offended, okay? Now, our natural reaction to being asked to sign a prenup is shock and offense and all that other kind of stuff. But you know what? I'm going to try and get you to see the prenuptial agreement in a completely different light, okay? Because for me, the prenup is your way as a woman of leveling the playing field, okay? If he's got money, that's all fine. He wants to protect his money. Imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and you were the one who had the money. Okay, maybe as women, we don't think that way. We share everything and blah, 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 but men think differently, especially when it comes to money, okay? So what I want you to do is, I want you to think differently about what you bring to the table, okay? So what? You don't bring money, but you bring things that he can't get, right? He doesn't have. So let me give you a heads up to something. When you get married and you have children, the act of getting married and having a family, having children will change your life in every way imaginable. How's it going to change his life? Not at all. It's not going to change his life one bit, but everything about you will change. It will take your career, it will take your potential, it will take your looks, it will take your body, it will take everything of value that you have. Having children will take. Now, don't get me wrong, I have kids, love them to death, right? But everything about me changed the day I had children. Everything. Your whole life changes. His life is not going to change. So what you need to think about in that prenup is, what value does all of that, the fact that your whole life is going to change, what is that worth to you? What is that worth to you? It might not be worth anything to him, and it's not going to be worth anything to him if you don't show it to him, right? You have to think about how much your life is going to change once you start having kids. In addition, you have to think about when those kids get older, if that relationship skids into the ditch, what do you have? Your job for X number of years is raising and teaching those kids to be good citizens of the world and making them sociable, making them kind, teaching them love, and all of that kind of stuff. It's a big job. Society does not put any value on what mothers do to raise good, contributing members of society. So the prenup is your way of putting a value on that, because if the relationship comes to an end in the middle of your family raising job, or at the end of your family raising job, he decides, you know what, I think I'm gonna trade you in for something new, you're not leaving with nothing after having spent 20 some odd years doing the job of raising kids that people will actually want to be around. And you know what's going to happen? You'll raise children that he'll want to go out with them, he'll want to hang out with them, he'll want to do drinks with them. And you know what? That's all well and good, but that's your work. He's still going to benefit from your work. What is that worth to you? The prenup is your opportunity to get value for your work. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. The prenup is your opportunity to level the playing field, okay? So what you bring to the table doesn't have any monetary value, but it does have value. And the person on the other end of that, at the other end of that table, isn't going to understand that until you make it clear. You have to make it clear. You know what? If you're marrying someone who has money, pray that he brings up a prenup. Pray that he asks you to sign a prenup. The other thing you're not supposed to do with a prenup is just have him hand it to you and sign it sight unseen. The prenup is a contract, and like any other contract, it's meant to be negotiated, period. The prenup is not a demand letter. The prenup is a contract. Remember that, and you'll be fine. Would you be working on a career? What do you want to do? Let's say that the relationship doesn't exist. Let's say that you're not about to get engaged or whatever. Let's say that you never even started dating this guy. What would you be doing? Would you be working on a career? Would you be working for him? Would you have your own business? What would you be doing? My point is, what is getting married and probably having children, especially if you're young, okay? If you're in your 20s, your early 20s, your mid 20s, there are a lot of things that you're pushing to the back burner or erasing altogether because you're about to get married and have children, right? And like I said, his life will not change, right? But there is value to everything that you have to essentially give up in order to get married and have children and all of that other kind of stuff. You want to make sure that if, God forbid, the relationship ends, you are not stuck starting from zero, because he doesn't have to. If the relationship ends, he won't have to start from scratch, right? Because his work is going to continue. Your work is either going to get harder if you still have the kids. If you're granted full custody of the kids and you're still fighting with him over money, your work is going to get harder. Your life is going to get harder, much harder. You need to write all of that into a prenup. Think about what happens. What happens? What do you want to avoid if the relationship skids into the ditch? What do you want to avoid? What do you not want? You want to not be struggling for money while you have kids. You want to keep being able to raise your children. You don't want to change their lives. You don't want to turn their lives upside down. You want to not have to all of a sudden figure out what are you going to do for childcare because you signed this good for nothing prenup and now you have no money. You don't want to do that. So those are all of the types of things that you need to think about before you sign a prenup. You're not just going to willy-nilly sign a prenup. You're going to take that bad boy to a lawyer, and no offense, gentlemen, but ladies, you want to take it to a female lawyer, because this scene right here.
Prenuptial agreements are there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to protect the person with the money. It isn't to protect the person that doesn't have the cash.
Well, it's kind of a situation for me because he does real estate, and coming out of college, I started working for him, and his business grew like monumentally.
Is not something that should happen to a woman. The only thing this lawyer thought about was the fact that, and I don't know if that's all they aired, but the only thing he thought about was the fact that she was only getting paid $500 a week. But she left out a whole lot of, she didn't tell him that she lives with Donovan and he pays all the bills. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All he focused on was she's getting woefully underpaid. Okay, well that's neither here nor there when it comes to the prenup, right? When it comes to a prenup, you need to think about everything you're going to have to get back if your relationship skids into the ditch. And I'm not just talking to what's her nose on Marrying Millions. I'm talking to all of you other women who are in this boat right now. If you've been asked to sign a prenup, take it to a lawyer. Make a list of everything you're giving up to be in this relationship. If you have a career and you're going to put that on the back burner to have kids and raise kids and all that other kind of stuff, that has value. Your body is not going to look the same. Your earning power is going to change. Your looks are going to change. Everything about you is going to change. And it's a whole different kind of work. So you need to think about all of those things. Put them into the prenup and level the playing field. They all have value. If all he's concerned about money, think about it in terms of a dollar value. That's all I got to say. And if you do that, you'll feel much better about signing a prenup. Turn the tables. When he says, or if he says, I think, we should talk about a prenup, you need to jump for joy. Jump for joy. What you are giving up to be in this relationship, marriage, union, whatever you want to call it, what you are giving up has value, and you need to remember that. Anyways, I hope that I've made some sense. They call me the realist. This is reality versus reality TV. And tune in next time.